What's happening? We back. Two truths and all facts. I'm your boy Ty Knight.
And I'm Cece, aka Cece Gilbert Photo. And we back. We back with another episode, another series. It's been a minute, but we here. Get used to seeing it, cause we done. We done with the bullshit. We back. Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about this week. So much has happened. If you haven't been in the music world or the entertainment world or just under a rock, a lot has happened this week. So we are here to break it down, give you our opinions, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. So let's dive into it.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
So first on the board, Charleston White.
Yeah.
Fucking clown ass.
Okay.
All
right, like that.
That's how I feel about him, because like even, and it's like it's kind of a torn thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the stuff he's saying isn't all false.
Mm-hmm.
The people he's attacking are the wrong targets.
Okay.
And that's how I feel about it.
Elaborate a little bit.
Like his overall messages, whether it's to the gangbangers or the little niggas who like not really like knowing where they supposed to be at all times,
right.
Like I can't fault them for the messages, because like we've
There's
been saying
truth
for years.
In my opinion, there's truth.
We've
in
been
his
saying
messages.
for years, if somebody was there to tell him this and that, or if somebody was there in the times that we had our leaders taken away, So there's a lot of things that he said that I'm like, okay, shit makes sense. But this motherfucker be attacking the wrong motherfucking people. He be going for people who really be trying. And he be going for
his
people who can't protect themselves.
Odd.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't get with that calling the police shit. Like, I know, like, if we talking about a better future and a better culture, like, we gotta have some type of law enforcement, but I can't never get with calling no police. Because fucking them niggas been nigga catching and slave catchers since the jump. So, like, anybody who would call the boys, like, you go sit over there with them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally agree for the most part. When he first came onto the scene, I really respected him. I thought his approach at that time when he first came onto the scene was, a real approach. He just didn't care. As far as his message goes, I agree with mostly everything he said up until recently, which we'll get into, but he does it in a harsh way, but he is really calling out our own community, which I think it's been overdue that we do so. He's calling out all the artists and gangbangers who, they want respect of the black community, they want our money, they want our support, but what are they really putting in? And he really, he breaks down a lot of the messages. His most viral moments prior to this past week was, when he talked about the King Von situation and everything. He brings up some real topics that I feel like we should be talking about, diving into more deep. How come we care when this person dies, but when this person dies from a direct repercussion of what this person did, why don't we care? So it's definitely, I think, conversations we need to be having within our community. But I think his recent approach, maybe his last couple approach, like the three incidents he's been in, has been.
I feel like, I don't know. I came across him a while back. I can't remember what video, but like it was definitely a while back, and I feel like consistently it's been him attacking people who, like, it was just out of left field. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they provoked him. It wasn't like...
Right. But I don't think he's doing it. And this is why I wanted to talk about his character before we get into what just happened. Because I feel like what just happened, I don't know. We'll get to that. But I think his approach to it... So I did recently watch an interview with him, and he just kind of talks about, like, social media is a tool for him. Social media is a tool for him to get his point across and to make money. And so... he said, he was having these opinions similar to what we do, and we have these opinions, we just put them out there into the world. He was having these opinions already, so he just decided to take it to a bigger scale. And so I can see how some would say it's coming from left field, but I think if you think about it, because, I don't feel like we should be oblivious. Like, a lot of our music, it could have some some detrimental effects on our community. If you are, you know, you listening to music, you know, like I said, King Von was a person he really like went after he passed. And if you listen to his music, you know, it's all about killing other people. It's about killing other black people.
And I feel like it's definitely.
I think it's just unconventional from what we go by as a code in our community for the most part.
Well, I just feel like there's ways to go about it, you know, and there's like ways to use your influence.
Right.
And this nigga, like, I don't think we just don't come from a culture that will ever respect a troll, you know.
He's even talked about it. Now, I'm not here to attest to whether or not how true his street cred was, but he said he was a person who used to terrorize and victimize his community.
And see, so, I believe that. This nigga got fucking artillery, like, I ain't never really seen, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like...
So, I think, you know, I think he has the right to speak on it, especially if he was a person, you know, not bringing any positivity to his community. What I do want to ask, though, because a lot of people, that's when they get on the Charleston White, you know, conversation, a lot of people just like, I can't respect the snitching, quote unquote. But I think we really do need to evaluate snitching, right? I think it's absolutely snitching if you sign up for a lifestyle of crime or activity that you have to do to survive. I think that's snitching because it's like you know the rules, right? It's like when you play football or a sport. You know the rules, you know? Like...
Don't tap in if you want to tap in.
Exactly. So a person who has said, look, I'm done with this. I don't abide by these rules. I don't care about what you have to say. Or a person who has never been into that lifestyle, if they see crime or if they feel crime, right? Because everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? I'm allowed to say whatever I want. That is that is protected by the Constitution. Right. You cannot attack me because you don't like what I said, right? And I think... You know, and I don't agree with everything he says, but I think, and this is why I feel like we should be having these conversations, because I feel like we get so far off of center when it comes to certain things. And it's just like, how can we be mad at people who aren't living that lifestyle who wants to call the police? Because that's what they're there for.
But see, that's the thing is like, when it comes to him, like he has cultivated this whole life he's living.
He does troll.
You know,
he does. He does troll.
So I feel like that's complete snitching, based on your definition that we just established, and I agree with your definition. I completely agree. So based on that, I feel like he is snitching because he's going out here and putting himself in these places.
I don't think it's snitching though. I think it's being a tattletale. And the reason, because he's not living these lives. I think we should call him Charleston White the tattletailer. Honestly, because he's going to tell.
So if we say, so if we going by snitching, like let's say like you.
Because I don't think a civilian
would be someone involved in that activity,
yes, that is a snitch. Yes.
So yeah, we could say he's more of a tattletale.
Yes. Either big tattletale, and people don't like, and that's why I'm going back to what you not like it. People don't like tattletales. It's something we grew up. No, people don't like tattletales, you know. But I think we should stop calling. We should really give him the name of tattletaling, because technically he's not going against some street codes, but he is tattletaling. He's provoking people and then going to tell the teacher, you know, which is the cops. Right. So he's definitely a tattletale, which I think turns people away from the root of his message, and that's how I feel about it.
And that's what I was saying. You know, there's a way to go about everything. I feel like, you know, like there are plenty of people who probably have walked the same path as him, and who probably are actually out there at Boys and Girls Clubs, actually out there
a lot of people
on the corner with the sets and shit, fucking directing shit, and preventing like people going down the paths that would make them get criticized by fucking Charleston White. But at the same time, it's like, if you out
he's
here,
capitalizing too. So there's wrong in what he's doing too.
It's just
there's wrong because. Who's to say? I feel like some of his actions don't say it's coming from a pure heart. Now, I do think the good thing about it is he is bringing these conversations that we should be having internally within our community as people.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, he do sound like everybody's granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he
we might just have to get by, you know, get used to this nigga.
Yeah, he reminds me of that uncle that's been off the bottle and then gets pissed at everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then wants to like fight everybody, but he's like old and brittle, so he gonna lose. And you know, your auntie got to talk you down because you know, like but want to talk about everything he did, everything he would do. Yeah. Okay, so that brings us into the next little point we got about Charleston White. I don't know if you've seen it, but this past week, he's been in a little back and forth debacle with Tip and his son King and Boosie and his son Tootie. Have you seen any of that back and forth going on?
Yeah, I saw that shit, and I don't know. He probably needs to stay away from Atlanta for you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't really know why. I don't know why you would speak on them too. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
They really came up under famous street niggas. Like that's how I feel like that's how I would expect them to act. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, like for them to acknowledge it now, when this is probably stuff he's been saying for years. It just tells me that like a lot more people are paying attention to his shenanigans, which is unfortunate.
Definitely, and I think because I feel like lately he's been able to scale himself. I don't think a lot of people knew who Charleston White was prior to this year, honestly. And so the way he's climbing up this media ladder so quickly, people are paying attention, so it does matter what he says. Right. And in my personal opinion about the whole situation, and I am going to insert the clips of what was said in this video.
Tell T.I son, that nigga say, my mama raised a bitch. Nigga, your mama and dad raised a yellow freak. Yeah, that nigga T.I son say, nigga, I'll whoop your old ass. Now T.I, you raising these kind of little yellow motherfuckers. You got a yellow motherfucker, look how your son look, talking about he'll jump on a 50-something-year-old nigga. Your boy, hey, so T.I, them the kind of boys you got? Say, T.I, listen, if your boy jump on me, y'all will bury that yellow motherfucker. I shoot him right in his goddamn throat. Look, I wish an 18, 19-year-old nigga would jump on me. Boy, I Trayvone Martin, that little motherfucker. I swear to God. My right hand to God.
With our son name in his mouth. So I had to go and catch myself up to speed.
Right.
I had to go and catch myself up to speed, see what the fuck was going on. And when I heard it, that shit was like, you know, I know the nigga MO, I know how he move around. He move around like a motherfucker with no talent. He got to, you know, he got to operate off clout. He got to operate off of negativity to move himself around. Yeah. So I get it, but then when he started mentioning, that become predatory at this point. You're no longer, I guess he disguised himself as a community leader. That's not leadership. He disguised himself as an activist. That's not activism. You using hate, talking about you hate Boosie. Then you bringing up in the process of talking about you hating another man.
But my whole point on this situation is I don't like that he's attacking people's kids, right? Because they're kids. Yeah. You know, they just turned 18. Like, they are fresh out of high school. Yeah. I mean, dude is like 50.
And I mean,
like, he's old enough to be their dad.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, we got to stop acting like it's not these little niggas out here really fucking doing the drills and fucking spinning the blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas, the old niggas, the niggas fucking really calling the shots and shit. And the niggas who done retired, tapped out of the games, everybody got opinions. But the niggas who really be out here fucking doing this shit are the same niggas like he want to attack, you know, and talk about the young guys and this and that and provoke and antagonize. And it's like
he's definitely gonna run into somebody who's gonna do it.
Well, at this point, it seems like that's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to find somebody who's he can make an example out of.
I truly don't think he cares though. Like, I think he's willing to take the chance on that. But I got this perspective. I'm gonna shout you out. Shout out to my mom, because I was having a conversation about it with her, and she is very much so a child should stay in a child's place. And I'm gonna have to go back to the origin, and I do think that King actually made comments about him first.
Oh, okay.
And Charleston White got a hold at it and ripped him a new one. And then everybody was like, whoa, Charleston White. So, like I said, I think a lot of this stuff is you have to self-evaluate, right? And you can't, they are becoming young men. So, I think everybody, young men and young women, in their early, late teens, early 20s, everybody trying to find themselves, People run with the wrong crowd for a little while till they realize what they want.
That's
and
what
so,
I'm saying. Like, I really ain't met one person who don't have like some crazy origin story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
everybody has to find themselves.
There's so many walks of lives, and I feel like to go, even if, and you said he sits on there, he talks about how he was terrorizing, he was doing this and that
to tear people down. I think it's more. I think the message behind Charleston White has become more. It's feeling like it's more of a tearing down the community, with a little bit of like, we should try this, when it should be more of like, hey, let's try this, And my big thing was the looks. My whole thing. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's crazy because it's like there aren't people who just like him because he's funny, or just like him because this, or just like him for that. There are people who really align with his messages, or just hate him because who he is and what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not really that in between, or that like fan base. Right. It's more of like
I was rocking with him, and the thing was, it's like. Even that, because, people are entitled to their opinion. Like I said, if you get mad about their opinion, but when you are degrading, like, it's sad as hell that us as a community, we are just so comfortable with degrading each other. People are bigger. I'm bigger. Shit. People, people have their flaws, but to sit here and act like there's a group of people or one man better than the next, you could be the most beautiful person, but you still have your flaws. So for you to publicly point out this child, because I'm calling him what he is. He just turned 18. A child, and the fact that he's a man, a boy, like, he's supposed to be able to, he's just supposed to take that. Like, that could really do something to somebody's self-esteem. And just because he has a privileged life doesn't mean that he's stronger than, a person who's less privileged. Because let's look at Regina Hall. Rest in peace, and I hope she's doing better. Rest in peace to her son. But A-list black celebrity's child committed suicide. I feel like that we should be taking a look, and that's not the only one. We should be taking a look, like, for, especially because they're at that caliber, the whole world can degrade this person's son. It's just sad to me, and it's sad to add fuel to that fire, because people are already gonna do it. But like, Charleston White is becoming a household name. So like, it just, that really saddened me. It really showed me, it kind of skewed his message for me. It's like, I don't know if I'm really gonna like. I might have to find somebody else to like look for that as that community activist, And there are plenty, because say what you want to about Tip, but like, and Boosie, people have their flaws, but I'm not gonna hate somebody because of their flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to learn and grow. People have to learn and grow, but they do good for the community.
You just cannot be out here talking about values and morals at the same breath degrading somebody's kid. Like, that he's a clown to me. He's just a clown.
What do you think his future is, though? What do you think the future of Charleston White is, or where it lies?
I mean, first time I came across him, they was calling him a comedian. I ain't really heard this nigga say one thing really too funny. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't get that back at all.
More controversial.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. I can't even tell what the fuck he trying to do with his career. But I do think he going up. And I don't know where that's going to put him, or where he's going to land, but I do think he going up, and we're going to see a lot more.
I definitely think he's here to stay for a while. He might be the most controversial person in the culture, but I think he going to be in the culture for sure. Yeah. He's already paving his way.